He heard the scream before he saw anything. It cut through the music, sharp and wrong, like something tearing apart. "Let go of me, please, Marcus, stop." The laughter around the pool faltered. Glasses paused mid-air. Someone dropped a plate and it shattered against the tiles, but no one looked down. All eyes turned toward the house. Then she appeared, barefoot, crying, one hand clutching her stomach. "Help me," she screamed again, voice cracking raw. "He's going to." A hand grabbed her arm from behind and yanked her backwards so violently her body twisted. "Get back inside," the man growled. "Marcus, please, I'm pregnant." 30 people stood there. 30. And not one of them moved. If you're watching this and you think you would have done something, ask yourself, would you really? Because in that moment, nobody did. Not even Daniel. And that's the part that would haunt him for the rest of his life. 3 years earlier, nothing about her life looked like it would end like this. Her name was Lena Hart. 27, quiet, careful, the kind of woman who learned early that stability was something you fought for, not something you were given. "You always think too small," her friend Maya told her one night over cheap drinks. "You settle before life even tests you." Lena shrugged, stirring her drink. "I don't want drama, I just want something steady." Steady is boring. Steady is safe. And for Lena, safe meant everything. She grew up in a cramped one-bedroom apartment in Mesa Ridge, the kind of place where sirens were background noise and broken promises were normal. Her mother drank more than she worked. Her father left before she could remember his face. So Lena learned early, no one saves you. You save yourself. That's why when she met Daniel Cross, everything felt different. It happened on a Tuesday afternoon at a wellness spa she worked at. "Hi, I have a 3 p.m. appointment," he said, stepping up to the counter, his voice calm, polite. She looked up and paused. He wasn't just good looking, he looked put together, like someone who had his life figured out. "Name? Daniel Cross." She typed it in, nodding. "You're right on time." He smiled. "I try to be." It was a small thing. But for Lena, small things mattered. Consistency mattered. And Daniel was consistent. He came back the next week. And the week after that. At first, it was casual conversation. Then longer conversations. Then one day. "Would it be weird if I asked you out?" he said, almost awkwardly. Lena hesitated. Not because she didn't want to, but because she did. "Depends," she said, raising an eyebrow. "Where are you taking me?" He laughed. And just like that, everything began. Daniel wasn't perfect, but he was kind. And after a lifetime of instability, kindness felt like luxury. "You don't have to worry anymore," he told her one night as they sat on his balcony overlooking the city lights. "I've got you." Lena didn't respond right away. She just leaned into him. Because for the first time, she believed it. A year later, they were married. A small wedding, nothing flashy. But to Lena, it felt like she had finally crossed into the life she had always wanted. A house, security, a future, and a family. Because Daniel's family was impressive. His father, Marcus Cross, owned multiple businesses, gas stations, properties, investments. His mother, Evelyn, was quiet but observant. And their home. The first time Lena saw it, she actually stopped walking. "You live here," she whispered. Daniel laughed. "Yeah, you'll get used to it." But she didn't. Not really. Because something about that house always felt heavy. Like it was holding secrets. "Careful," Evelyn said one afternoon, watching Lena set the table. Lena glanced up. "With what?" Evelyn smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. with thinking you understand everything. Lena frowned slightly. I didn't say I did. No, Evelyn said softly, but people always think they do, right before things fall apart. Lena didn't know what to make of that. So she ignored it. She ignored a lot of things. Like the way Marcus looked at her sometimes. Too long. Too familiar. You're wasted behind that desk job, Marcus said once, leaning against the kitchen counter while she made coffee. You've got more potential than that. She forced a polite smile. I like what I do. Do you? He asked, stepping closer. Too close? Or do you just like feeling safe? Her grip tightened on the mug. I should get back, she said quickly. But as she walked away, she could feel his eyes on her. And something about it made her uneasy. Months passed. Then one night, everything shifted. It was after a family dinner. Daniel had stepped out to take a call. Evelyn had gone upstairs. And Lena was alone in the kitchen. Or so she thought. You're lonely. She turned sharply. Marcus stood in the doorway. I'm not, she said quickly. He tilted his head. You sure about that? She laughed nervously. Daniel and I are fine. Fine, he repeated. That's your word again. He stepped closer. You've spent your whole life surviving. You don't even know what it feels like to actually live. Her heart started beating faster. This isn't appropriate, she said, stepping back. But he didn't stop. You think he understands you? Marcus continued. Daniel's lived a comfortable life. He doesn't know struggle. He doesn't know you. That's not true. Then why do you look so unhappy? That hit. Because part of her didn't have an answer. And Marcus saw it. He always saw it. You deserve more, he said quietly. And that's how it started. Not with passion. Not with desire. But with a crack. If you're still watching, hit that like button. It tells me you want more stories like this, and trust me, this one only gets darker. It wasn't immediate. It was gradual. Conversations that lingered too long. Touches that lasted a second too long. Glances that said things words didn't. You shouldn't be here, Lena whispered one night when he showed up at the guest house. Then why did you open the door? Marcus asked. She didn't answer. Because she didn't know. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was weakness. Maybe it was something deeper. But whatever it was, it pulled her in. And once she crossed that line, there was no going back. You're going to ruin everything, she said one night, packing the room. Marcus watched her calmly. No, we're just revealing what's already broken. That's not true. Then why haven't you told him? She froze. Because he was right. She hadn't. She couldn't. Because telling Daniel would mean losing everything. And Lena had spent her whole life trying not to lose. But secrets don't stay buried. Not in a house like that. Not with someone like Evelyn. Evelyn didn't confront her immediately. She watched, waited, collected, and one day she installed a camera. Not in the main house, but in the guest house, where she knew they would feel safe, where she knew they would slip. And they did. Weeks later, Evelyn sat alone in her room, watching the footage. Silent, still, unblinking. On the screen, Lena laughed. Marcus touched her face, and everything Evelyn had tolerated for years finally broke. But she didn't cry. She didn't scream. She didn't confront them. Because Evelyn wasn't emotional. Evelyn was strategic. This is how it ends, she said softly to herself. And she started planning. Meanwhile, Lena felt the pressure building. I can't do this anymore, she said one afternoon, her voice shaking. Marcus frowned. You're overreacting. I'm pregnant. The words hung in the air. For a moment, Marcus said nothing. Then, are you sure it's mine? Her stomach dropped. Yes. He exhaled slowly, running a hand through his hair. This complicates things. Complicates, she snapped. Marcus, this is a child. And it's also a problem, he said flatly. Something inside her shifted. Because for the first time, she saw him clearly. You said I deserved more, she whispered. You do. Then why does this feel like I'm losing everything? Marcus didn't answer. Because deep down, he already knew how this would end. And somewhere in the house, Evelyn smiled. Because everything was finally falling into place. The first time Lena felt the baby move, she was alone. She froze, hand pressed against her stomach, breath catching in her throat. A soft flutter. Then again. For a moment, everything else disappeared. The lies, the fear, the tension. This is real, she whispered. Her eyes filled with tears. Not from sadness, from clarity. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about her anymore. This was a life. And she had to protect it. Marcus, we need to talk. He didn't even look up from his phone. We've been doing a lot of that lately. This isn't one of those conversations, she said, voice steady. I'm keeping the baby. Now he looked up. Silence stretched between them. You say that like there was another option, he said. There is, she replied quietly, walking away, telling the truth, fixing this before it destroys everything. Marcus stood slowly. You think telling the truth fixes anything, he said, stepping closer. Truth destroys, that's what it does. Then maybe things should be destroyed, Lena shot back, because this isn't right. For a split second, something flashed in his eyes. Not guilt. Annoyance. You're getting emotional, he said. I'm pregnant, she snapped. I'm allowed to be emotional. No, he said sharply. You're allowed to be smart, and right now you're not thinking. Her chest tightened. Smart, she whispered. Is that what you call this? Sneaking around, lying to your son? Marcus didn't respond. And that silence told her everything. Daniel noticed the distance first. You've been quiet lately, he said one evening as they sat across from each other at dinner. Lena forced a smile, just tired. You've been just tired for weeks, he replied gently. Talk to me. She looked at him. Really looked at him. And for a moment, the truth almost came out. She started. But the words got stuck. Because the second she said them, everything would end. I think I might be pregnant, she said instead. Daniel blinked, then smiled. A real, genuine smile. Are you serious? Tears filled her eyes. Yeah. He stood immediately, walking around the table and pulling her into a hug. That's amazing, he said, his voice full of joy. Lena, that's amazing. She closed her eyes and hugged him back. But instead of feeling happy, she felt like she was drowning. If you're still watching, drop a comment. Would you tell the truth in her position, or would you stay silent? Because the next decision she makes changes everything. Evelyn chose the date carefully. September 18th. The perfect day for a celebration. A gender reveal party. Something small, she told Daniel, just close friends and family. Daniel loved the idea. Lena didn't. I don't think this is necessary, she said quietly. Evelyn smiled. Of course it is. A new life should be celebrated. Their eyes met. And in that moment, Lena felt it. Something was wrong. Deeply wrong. You're overthinking it, Marcus said when she confronted him. She's planning something, Lena insisted. I can feel it. She doesn't know anything, he replied, even if she suspects she won't act. You don't know that. Marcus grabbed her wrist, not violently, but firmly enough to stop her packing. Relax, he said. After the party, we'll figure everything out. Lena pulled her hand away. After the party, she repeated. Why after? He hesitated. Just for a second. But it was enough. The day of the party arrived faster than she wanted. The house was full. Music, laughter, people she barely knew congratulating her, touching her arm, smiling like everything was perfect. Congratulations, someone said. Thank you, she replied automatically. Her eyes kept scanning the room. Looking for Evelyn. Looking for Marcus. Looking for something she couldn't quite name. Then she saw Daniel. He was talking to his cousin, laughing, completely unaware. And the guilt hit her so hard she had to look away. Let everyone gather around, Evelyn's voice rang out. The room slowly quieted. Guests moved closer, forming a loose circle around the center of the living room. Lena's heart started racing. This is it, Evelyn said, smiling warmly. A moment to celebrate truth, family, and new beginnings. Something about the way she said truth made Lena's stomach drop. Daniel took her hand. You okay? He whispered. She nodded, but her hand was shaking. Evelyn picked up a remote. I thought we'd do something a little different, she continued. Marcus stiffened. Evelyn, he started, but she ignored him. Instead of just revealing the baby's gender, she said, I think we should reveal everything. The room went silent. A TV behind her flickered on. And before Lena could react, the video started playing. At first, no one understood what they were seeing. Then, gasps, murmurs. Someone whispered, is that? On the screen, Lena stood in the guest house. Laughing, Marcus stepped into frame, touched her face, kissed her. No, Lena whispered. Her legs felt weak. No, no, no. Daniel's hand slipped from hers. Lena, he said slowly. She couldn't look at him. She couldn't look at anyone. Because the room had shifted. From celebration to something else entirely. Turn it off, Marcus shouted. But Evelyn didn't move. Because she wasn't finished. The video cut. Replaced by a document. A DNA test. Probability of paternity, 99.98%. The words burned into the screen. And into everyone watching. This is what you've been hiding, Evelyn said, her voice calm, controlled. This is the truth. No, Lena choked out. It's not. Stop, Evelyn said sharply. Enough lies. Daniel staggered back. You, he whispered, looking between them. You and him. No one answered. Because they didn't have to. And then everything broke. Are you serious? Someone shouted. What the hell is this? This is sick. Voices overlapped. Chaos erupted. And in the middle of it, Marcus moved. Marcus, don't, Lena started. But he was already there, grabbing her arms. Hard. You're coming with me, he said through clenched teeth. Let go, she cried, trying to pull away. No. Marcus, you're hurting me. Daniel stepped forward. Dad, stop. But Marcus shoved him aside like he wasn't even there. Stay out of this, he snapped. Help me, Lena screamed. Her voice echoed through the house, through the crowd, through 30 people standing frozen in place. Please, someone help me. No one moved. Not one. He dragged her through the hallway, toward the garage. Her feet slipped against the floor. Her nails scratched at his arm. Marcus, please, she sobbed. I'm pregnant. I know, he said. And there was something in his voice that made her blood run cold. The garage door slammed shut, cutting off the noise from inside. But not completely, because her screams, they carried. Marcus, stop, we can fix this. There's nothing to fix, he said. Yes, there is. I won't say anything, I swear. You already have, he replied. She shook her head frantically. No, listen to me. Her words were cut off as he shoved her backward. She stumbled, fell. Pain shot through her side. Please, she whispered. For a moment, he just stood there, looking at her. And in that moment, she realized this wasn't anger. This wasn't panic. This was a decision. You were a mistake, he said quietly. Her heart broke, not because of what he was about to do, but because she finally understood. He had never cared. The first impact came fast. Her head hit the concrete. A sharp crack. White light exploded behind her eyes. Marcus, she tried to say. But the second impact came before she could finish. Inside the house, someone screamed. Call the police. Oh my God. But still, no one went in. Stop, a voice shouted from outside. But it didn't matter, because Marcus didn't stop. By the time the garage door opened again, it was over. Lena lay still, blood pooling beneath her. The room silent except for heavy breathing. And somewhere in the distance, sirens. Daniel was the first to step forward. Slowly, like he didn't believe what he was seeing. Lena, he whispered. But she didn't move. He dropped to his knees beside her, his hands shaking. No, no, no. But there was no response. No breath. No movement. Nothing. 2 lives. Gone in less than a minute. Marcus didn't run. He didn't speak. He just stood there, waiting. The trial was fast, clean, undeniable. 30 witnesses, video evidence, a confession. I didn't mean to kill her, Marcus said on the stand. I just wanted her to stop. But the jury didn't hesitate. Guilty on all counts. Life imprisonment without parole, the judge said, plus 25 years. The gavel struck, and that was the end of Marcus Cross. Evelyn filed for divorce within weeks. She got the house, the assets, the silence she had always lived in. But not peace. Never peace. Daniel left everything behind. The house, the city, the name. Because some things you don't recover from. And the question remained. The one no one could answer. The one that lingered long after the headlines faded. Why didn't anyone step in? If you made it this far, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. What would you have done? Because the truth is, you don't really know until you're standing there, and it's already too late.